Ready. Set.
Gamecast.
Welcome to Ready, Set, Gamecast, a bi-weekly podcast about video games and Bernie Sanders. I'm Bryce, and I'm joined by the Mittens of Morality, Darian.
Bernie Sanders is so pure. I love that guy.
And the Chair of Concern, Matt.
You could put Chairman Bernie Sanders right behind me in that chair. He could just be sitting there and be like, "Yo, Bernie, what up?"
As we know, Bernie Sanders is out there getting the good word out. Where have you seen him lately?
On TikTok. Actually, he has an official TikTok page, and there's an interview that they did where they asked him about the mittens, and he completely disregarded it and was just like, $2,000 for every American. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Like, I don't have time to talk about my mittens that I wore to the inauguration. Fuck you.
Well, apparently, from what I heard, like a teacher made the mittens for him, and people have like reached out to this chick and been like, "We want more mittens," and they're like, and the chick's like, "I have a life. I can't be making you people mittens.
I can't just make mittens for everybody. Come on. Not everybody's Bernie Sanders."
Yeah.
I love that.
And that's your latest meme update.
What an excellent meme.
That brings us to what have you been playing? We're gonna start off with Darian.
Me? Well, same old. Terraria and Stardew. And Phasmophobia, actually. I played the Phasmophobia beta. It's getting so scary. Oh my gosh.
You say beta. Was it not beta already? Was it alpha?
So there's like a live build in like the regular early access, but they also do like play testing before they push new updates through on that live build. So you can opt into like things that they're still working on. A few of the updates they've made, they updated the Ghost's AI. So it will hunt smarter, and also it actually listens to audio, because previously in Phasmophobia, when it goes on a hunt, it no longer listens for your voice. But they updated that, so now if you talk during a hunt, it'll hear you and try to find where you are, which is terrifying. It also, the ghosts never used to like physically open doors. What?
I'm wondering. I still haven't played Phasmophobia because
I should probably.
No, it's fine. Obviously it's a growing game, so like, you know, by the time
you get to it, I bet there's going to be a lot more.
Yeah,
going
there could
on.
be different stuff, but I'm wondering if you could use that as like a tactic of like, say a player is getting hunted and like the ghost is nearby, could another player come out and like shout to pull the attention away?
Yeah.
I haven't tested that theory, but I bet that that's possible. I guess it depends on a few factors, without giving any spoilery details. But I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, it'd definitely be cool if like that could be used as a tactic for the players to use, along with the obvious like, you know, gotta be quiet. I'm curious how many people who play with just in-game stuff, because, you know, Discord and stuff.
Oh yeah. I think that game though, right? Because of the audio cue stuff.
Yeah.
So it has in-game microphone that you have to use. You can choose to do push to talk and still be in Discord with people, but it has proximity chat. So it's like another level of immersion. Like you can hear when someone's far away. If they're in the building and you're not, it's harder to hear them. If you're on opposite sides of the building, sometimes you can't hear each other.
Yeah.
And then there's a radio so that you can still talk to people over long distances and stuff. But
part of the initial stuff too, right, was like you can call to the ghost, right?
Yeah, it's got voice recognition software. When you first play the game, you want to make sure that you follow like their step-by-step guide to make sure that your game is set up properly, and test your microphone in the game, because otherwise there's a couple features you can't use if the ghost can't hear you, which is based on entirely if things are like set up properly on your computer. But there's like a tool that you use to try to identify the ghost, and if the game can't like recognize your voice, then you can't use it. So
Alexa, is the ghost here? It's a joke because it has. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. The joke is because they have voice recognition.
I have a ghost in my house.
I do too.
Oh, Destiny.
I have a real ghost in my
it.
house.
You know. I asked Erin a question yesterday, and she looked at me weird.
What question?
I asked.
I feel like I just looked at you weird after that statement. So
I asked her if she's ever been so horny she's tried to seduce a ghost, and she was like, "No. Why would someone do that?"
There's
like,
I think it's an episode of My Strange Addiction where this girl claims oh my god, she claims that she can't stop herself from giving ghosts blowjobs. So
that's some quality TV right there.
She'll just like stop and
That's a great visual.
Yeah, I'm not gonna imitate it. At my friend's house that we were at the other night, like we make that joke all the time, and so like sometimes we'll just randomly imitate this girl who gives ghost blowjobs. It's fine.
Bryce, can you drink from that bottle again?
No,
because like
no.
Oh my.
What is the use case though for the so horny you need to seduce a ghost thing?
I mean,
because like
a ghost is chilling in your house. You're like, want a blowjob? What like they're living there rent free. Why not? Give me
put them to work.
Yeah.
Do something I want
like,
you to do.
Like, you don't wash the dishes. You don't pay rent. Hey, I hear there's a girl who.
All you do is slam
I hear there's a girl
doors
who
in the
does
middle
it
of
for
the
you
night.
guys. Maybe it's time to return the favor.
My ghost has never slammed the door in the middle of the night, but it has slammed the door to my attic when I was sitting at my dining room table facing my attic door. I was like reading something and it just shook the door violently, and I was like, okay, sorry.
Matt, do you believe in ghosts?
I think that like the energy makes sense to me, but I don't know if I believe in like humanoid forms necessarily as ghosts, right? Like I think that haunted areas and stuff totally can exist, right? But I don't know that it's like this specific person and like that appears as this like woman in the window sometimes, right? That people claim to see at night when passing this house or something like that.
Well,
but like I think the energy can be there, right?
I would think that if I just became energy, I would, when I think about myself, I would think of myself in this form. So if I was going to manifest, if my energy was going to manifest, it'd become that form, because that is, what I see myself as. So I would think that, yes, I would still be energy, but if I'm going to become visible, that's what I would present myself as.
I also don't know about like when captured on like film or audio, if like I don't think the technology we are using is particularly tuned to that well, right? Like you might see a floating orb in a photo or something. I don't know that that is necessarily like indication of that is a spirit.
I mean it, like, cameras can pick up more than we can see. which is, yes, literally floating orbs can just be like random light bouncing and stuff, but that because cameras can pick up more than we can see, that, you know, they could possibly pick up things that we wouldn't, you know, normally be able to see. I'm not going to say every floating orb is a thing, but I'm not saying that, like, I'm saying a camera might be capable of seeing more. Like, for example, you can't see a remote control.
Infrared would be
a
good.
remote control signal, but if you point a camera at it, now you can. So, you know, there's something to a camera being able to pick up more than you can see. I have had ghostly experiences. I believe in ghosts. I believe I've had a ghost speak to me in my parents' home, which is actually really funny because my brother always called me a nickname. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to tell you guys what it is.
You don't have to if it's embarrassing.
My brother would always call me Dinkelberg.
Aw, that's so sad.
Like, hey,
no.
nice going, Dinkelberg, or something, or like.
And one time, like, when my brother moved out, I like moved into his room because his room was bigger. And from my old room, like, it was late at night and like my parents were well asleep and like there was like no noise, and I heard like a whisper of like Dinkelberg, and I was like, what the fuck? And like I booked it out of there, but like thinking about it, it was like, does the ghost think my name is Dinkelberg because my brother called me all the time?
Oh, that's
Did you ever
funny.
ask your brother?
No, my brother
about
was
the ghost.
No, I haven't talked to my brother about it. But like my brother was not like, you know, my brother lived far away at that time, so that wasn't him.
No, yeah, but like, I don't know if he had encountered that ghost, right? Then
I doubt my brother believes in that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I had an experience where it seemed like my entire town had some spooky shit going on. Where like at my apartment, me and my girlfriend had a like weird experience. So we were like, hey, let's get the F out of the apartment right now. We're like, it feels kind of funky. And we drove over to our friend's house. And like, as we roll up, they're booking it out of their place because they were like, shit's real funky over here. So we just kind of like went over to McDonald's like for a while and just like chilled there until like things felt okay.
Weird.
That's wild.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah. It was a weird situation.
I wonder if you stepped into an alternate dimension on accident. If your town shifted into an alternate dimension.
You know, as
and
you
then
do.
shifted back.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm always there. Well,
we were all in an alternate dimension in 2020.
So you were gonna tell me about video games, Darian?
Yeah, we were talking about Phasmophobia, I think.
That's why things got weird.
Welcome to the Ghost Hunting Podcast.
Yeah, we're just ghosts. Everything is ghosts.
You were before the podcast, you were talking about your Stardew mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I started another game on my Switch and the update's not there and they don't even know when the new update is coming.
I think I saw that they had submitted it to certification.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just saw a thing saying it was submitted for certification to consoles, so probably
that's exciting.
Probably a week or two before.
Oh no, I had better delete this farm and get ready to start a new one.
Yeah. I showed Aaron the article that said it was submitted, and I was like, "Are we gonna start a new Stardew farm when this comes out?" And she's like, "Yeah." So maybe we'll do that. Hopefully, hopefully they improve the online, because we had a lot of issues with online when we played when they like first brought it to Switch. But hopefully that's fixed. Anything else you want to?
I don't think so.
Matthew,
Yeah.
what have you been playing? You got any ghost stories?
These last 2 weeks took a bit of a trip back in time to the 90s.
You mean 10 years ago?
Yeah, exactly. In 1993, when Link's Awakening was first released. I actually played I guess it was 2019, maybe, that the remake came out. The Switch Link's Awakening, it looks all cute and
Was it
plasticky.
2019?
Yeah, I
They
feel
had the demo at PAX. I think it was early 2020. No, it must have been like November.
I think it was like a November game. Yeah.
yeah, we went. Yeah, it was September 20th in 2019. We went to PAX West a while ago.
End of August. Yeah, it was in 2019.
Was it?
Before we shifted into the alternate dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what caused it.
going to.
Okay.
That's why the new Halloween movie didn't come out in 2020, because it had to come out in the right dimension.
Okay then.
Sorry, I'm being weird. I'll stop.
No, I like this stuff. I love I don't know, like I think of the Doctor Who episode Turn Left, where like at the beginning of the episode there's the
Spoilers.
seemingly inconsequential left turn, right?
Is this what?
I think they turned left instead of right, but it's like if you took the left turn versus the right turn, like what permutations, butterfly effect from there, right?
Mhm.
It's just I love that stuff. So
Is that which Doctor is that?
I think that's a David Tennant era.
Okay. I kind of fell off with the new Doctor. So
Which new Doctor?
the chick.
Because okay, I never watched. They like upped the production value in the Matt Smith era, but it seems like they like traded off production value for like through lines and plot, and made it like more of a one-off, spectacle show every episode.
What, Matt Smith?
Yeah,
Matt Smith, I felt like had the like his season 1 had the best like through line where it
with
wasn't
the Pandora
Yeah.
and the Rift. See,
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't follow through and like land that ending.
No, I that ending, which I don't want to get too far into it because I'm going to show
We're
Aaron.
gonna start a Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm going to show
after
I'm going to
this.
show Aaron that at some point. But I feel like that had a very strong payoff deal that like, oh, it didn't seem connected, but in the end it was, in a really strong way. The season after that felt like
Garbage.
yeah, like they kind of like were like,
No, I'm just
okay,
kidding.
I'm gonna use all my good stories, and then we're gonna just throw everything in the garbage after that. They ruined.
Yeah.
They ruined the chick, River.
Oh.
Yeah, they ruined
River
her.
Song.
For some-
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the Matt Smith era, they clearly like hit a new level of popularity with the show, right? So then their production value went way up, and then I don't know, I feel like they lost it went off the rails a bit.
Sparkle.
yeah.
Yeah. Who was the Doctor after?
I feel like
Capaldi?
Yeah, Peter Capaldi. I really liked him as the Doctor, but I think sometime in the second season of him, or maybe it was late in the first season, I just kind of stopped watching. But I liked him a lot, so I don't know.
his episodes were hit and miss for me. I felt like his stuff got better near the end. Anyway, video games.
Yeah, what a weird.
Guys, we have a
adventure
lot of
just went
video
on.
game news.
Yeah, we need to talk about the
Fine.
news.
Link's Awakening is a 1993 Game Boy game that they remade and released in 2019 for the Nintendo Switch. And this was the first time I remember playing it. I think I own a cartridge of Link's Awakening that I got at a garage sale or something when I was a kid. And I think I tried it once, but didn't stick.
Lost interest.
Yeah. So anyway, over the last year, I guess I've been playing this game and I finally finished it.
Nice.
It's not my favorite Zelda, but that's not like super critical of it. Like I still feel like every Zelda game is like I think every Zelda's like baseline a 7, 7.5 out of 10, something like that. And it's just, you can only improve from there kind of. That's generally how I feel. I think they're still my favorite type of game, just like the good mix of world exploration and puzzle solving. Usually the combat's pretty simple and easy. And this was all true in Link's Awakening. I think if I didn't play it like once a month over a really long period of time, I might have liked it a little better, because some of the world puzzles, like, you know, how the whole world kind of operates as a larger dungeon puzzle in this one. So like each grid of the map has certain things you can do, and like certain areas of the map are locked off depending on what equipment you have at the time. And there were just like a couple of puzzles that like I had forgotten the context for, and that I ended up looking up the answer and being like, oh, come on, you know, that's so simple and stupid, and I should have been able to figure that out, and how come I couldn't figure that out? I was kind of like mad at myself, but mad at the game. But I think the overall like story arc is pretty good, and I don't want to spoil it, so I think it just like raises a good question at the end of the game and doesn't give you a concrete conclusion. So that's kind of cool. And your goal is to wake up the big windfish egg. There's a big egg, and you want to try to wake it up by collecting all the instruments.
Did you try?
Yeah.
Did you try?
That was 1993.
Did you try?
Then
Try throwing rocks at the egg?
I did not throw rocks at the egg. I then traveled to the year 1994 to play.
I was born that year.
The classic Donkey Kong Country, one of my favorite games from the Super Nintendo that I played a lot during my childhood. And I played through that on the Switch Nintendo Classics, you know, the Super Nintendo classic games on the Switch. The movement, man, playing Donkey Kong compared to some other platformers, I feel like the movement is not super precise and doesn't feel super great, especially like in context to modern platformers. It's just like, whoa, this is rough. But I made it through it. It's a pretty short game. I think it only took like 2.5 hours. Like in game time. It probably took me longer for like where save points and stuff were, but yeah, it's still good. The music's so good in Donkey Kong Country. I beat King K. Rool, jumped on his head a bunch of times, and yeah, I'll probably play Donkey Kong Country 2 at some point. Looking forward. You guys ever play Donkey Kong Country?
Probably once at like a friend's house.
Is there one of them on the Game Boy?
Yeah, they did release, at least that one is on the Game Boy, the first one.
I think I played it on the Game Boy. And that might be the only Donkey Kong game I've ever played. Well, except for, I guess, the console version. Or not console, the arcade version, which
yeah,
I've got a poster of, actually.
Oh, yeah.
They did thank Miyamoto in the credits.
What is the current record high score?
7.
Donkey Kong? Oh, isn't that like somewhat controversial?
King
like,
of
who has
Kong.
it? Yeah, fistful of quarters.
Yeah, didn't they do like sue and they gave him the record back or something? But still everybody agrees
proved that he was using modded.
Yeah, everybody agrees that his stuff is wrong, is bad. Because like he did it, I think the thing was that like he did it and people questioned his legitimacy, like he didn't have a witness there. And
yeah, and I think there was some video evidence that was like indicative of a modded chipset or something like that on the board he was using. And
yeah, and he refused to like do it again or do it in front of, you know, witnesses and stuff. So it's like, well, if you didn't do it, you know, in a way that is provable, then we can't count it.
But I think, yeah, the max score is the isn't there a max score?
I mean, there's the kill screen, but I don't know.
I have no idea. But when this poster was printed, the high score at the time is the one that's on it, but it's been beaten since then.
The highest score on Donkey Kong 1981 is 1,260,700 points and was achieved by Robbie Lakeman on the 15th of June 2020.
Yep.
That's the highest score possible?
That's the highest score someone's gotten. Lakeman's world score run was live streamed on Twitch and took him over 4 hours. 4 hours.
That's a lot of Donkey Kong.
No, my thought is like in terms of like a a long game run, that's not that long. Like, sure, that's a lot of that particular game, but in terms of like, you know, getting the max score on a game, that seems like not much. Like, you know, there's plenty of games that you cannot even begin to beat in 4 hours.
But that's like a continuous one sitting thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of times I've played video games over 4 hours in a sitting. It's there's right, certain thing about.
Are you doing a continuous precision thing for 4 hours?
No, because I'm not that kind of gamer. Like I'm not. Like, I don't enjoy Tetris and that kind of thing. But you know, somebody who does, that's, you know, I feel like
like people speedrun longer games, right?
I feel like people who are into like, you know, the Donkey Kongs and Tetrises and stuff almost get into like a meditative state where they're kind of like doing it and just kind of like going through the motions in a way where you're like almost in the zone. And I've never been that kind of gamer where I'm kind of more focused on a story type thing. Whereas if I'm in a zone, then that means I'm not like, you know, enjoying the story.
Yeah.
Any other games, Matt?
No, just mostly the 90s throwback.
Okay, well, that brings it to me. I'm going to start off with a game that I probably should have mentioned last time, but forgot to. Grindstone, which honestly is a sort of that kind of game where it is...
game you just said you don't play.
Yeah, well, it's not a game that I'm enjoying a lot of. Like, I saw the trailer or like the opening thing of it, and it's the idea is that like you are this dad to a family who's kind of poor off, and so you want to, you know, provide for your family, so you get a job collecting grindstones, where you basically have to go into the mines and defeat these like monster creatures and to get grindstones to get money and da. And you know, you're going through each level, they'll add more mechanics. The basic mechanic being that like it's you're trying to match up lines of colored monsters so that you can chain together at least 10. If you can get 10 of them in a row, you spawn a grindstone. And a grindstone will like it is a currency that you can then spend to like get more health back and get upgrades and stuff. But it will also allow you to switch colors. So and then like the higher the chain you can get, the like the bigger the grindstone you spawn. So you could get, you know, you could do a chain of like 7 yellow dudes and then hit a grindstone and then switch to like 5 blue dudes, and you know, hitting grindstones allow you to get longer chains and stuff. There's more stuff like there's like resources that will spawn on later levels, and there's things of like special enemies that you will need to have a chain of a certain length to be able to take this enemy out. Like there's an enemy of like, hey, you need to have a chain of at least 10 before you land on this guy to be able to hurt him. It adds more and more stuff. It's a game that I'll sit and I'll do like one level or so at a time, kind of hoping that like at the end of the day there's going to be a cool like story payoff. But the farther I like get in, I'm not seeing that, and it's kind of making me kind of go like, man, maybe this isn't for me. I wish like at least between worlds I got like some sort of cutscene to kind of go like, yeah, I'm doing it. But this seems like if you are looking for like a chill pick up and play puzzle type thing where you're kind of trying to figure out the way to like organize these lines, line up these dudes in the right ways. It's really simple but complicated. There have been times that I've gone, okay, I'll do this and this. Oh wait, actually, if I do this and over here, then that guy's gonna drop there, and then they'll line me up for this other thing. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is a puzzle game that is very light on story. So, I'll play it occasionally. It's definitely not my main thing.
Did you say what you played it on?
Oh, I've been playing on Switch. It was actually one of the games that came out for the Apple Arcade thing.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so that was only available on there, and then they just brought it to Switch. So I heard people. Go ahead.
Do you think it's worth the price? Because like I get unreasonably cheap about some of these things, and it's like when it's a $5 or $6 subscription for Apple Arcade, and you get a bunch of games to play over whatever amount of time, but like it's $20 standalone on Switch, and I'm like, for what I've seen of that game and the way you described it, right? It's like kind of a casual puzzle game to some degree, a little bit of strategy.
Yeah,
but it's definitely like what you would think a mobile game would be. Then when you're charging $20, I'm like, whoa, you're asking too much. But like, really, that's just kind of me being cheap about it.
There is a lot to this game. There's probably 4 worlds, I don't know, like 20, 30 levels each. They keep adding more mechanics. You got this stuff of like, hey, there's new enemies that you then have to figure out how to deal with. Like, you've got the enemies that take a certain length of chain to take out. There's like these bats that will now come, like there's like a kind of like a bat cave type thing. That takes like a chain of 15 to take out the cave, but then every so often the bats will come out of the cave and take out everything within a straight line of it. So you have to be like, I can't be anywhere near that when it spits out, but then also, I got to try and take that out or else it's going to be a thing. There's a lot going on, a lot of like it is puzzly, but it's also a lot of strategy. I would say it's like early on, it's pretty much just like, puzzle. Oh, let me figure out how to do this. Later on, it becomes more and more strategy of like, how am I going to deal with these challenges that they are throwing at me?
Yeah.
And then along with that, there is also, in terms of strategy, there are abilities that you can add on to your character. Like you can equip a sword that will then allow you to spin around and take out dudes all around you. Or you could grab a health potion, or you could grab an arrow. But the thing is, you can only equip 3 things. So what 3 things are you going to take into the dungeon? So there is a lot of strategy of like, what is my play style? How is this going to work for me? So to say it's like a simple puzzle game, it is way more than that. If you are the type of gamer who is into like a puzzle strategy thing that is, deceptively simple, yes, I think it is worth the $20. If you are looking for a story, no. But I've heard really great things about Grindstone from the type of gamers who like that kind of thing. And I know that you're like big into the Tetris type thing, so that might be of that similar.
Yeah, I've looked at it.
feel.
It's just like that price. I don't know, like the perceived value, right? To me, the $20 price point for some reason is like, that's that like ledge, right? If a game is $10, I feel like almost any game is worth trying at $10. But at $20, it's suddenly like, I either have to know I want this or think it's like, beefy enough to be worth $20 or whatever that means. It's not even like it's not like a tangible thing that I can really apply to it.
Yeah, I think I got it on the slight discount of like a launch discount, which was like maybe like 10% or something off.
Yeah.
Not much, but it's one of those things of like, if you're not sure you can justify the $20, just, wait for it to go on sale. I'm sure, it's not a first party game. It's probably going on sale.
It's not even like, can I justify? It's just like, I get unreasonably like, I don't know, just refuse to spend money on certain things like that for whatever reason.
I could, if this if that type of game appeals to you, I would say that it's probably worth the $20.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot going on. Also, in terms of content on top of the like climb to the top of the mountain, achieve those 4 worlds thing, they also have daily challenges where they will have maps that you will be kind of like competing for like being the top person at the game or at that areas, where you'll go into this area and you can't heal, you can't use any like stuff you got through the game. Everybody's entering at the same situation, and how far can you get? How many grindstones can you get? Like, and then you get a leaderboard. I tried that very early on. It was like, I'm seeing stuff that I'm not familiar with. Like, this is a thing to play later on, but it is a thing of like, even once you beat the game, there's still content there for you. I can't tell you, hey, this is gonna give you $20 of enjoyment, but if you're like unsure, I'm sure it'll go on sale. Another game that I've been talking of, like, hey, playing a game for 4 hours. Yeah, I think I sat down and played that for 4 hours last weekend. Is Pathfinder Kingmaker. I was actually in a D&D subreddit, and people were talking about like how in like the campaign they were playing, like their players got like a inn, and then they were like figuring out how to like manage that inn while doing adventuring and stuff. And somebody was like, oh, that kind of sounds like the Pathfinder Kingmaker. And I was like, oh, interesting. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll like, that sounds like a cool concept where you're like, adventuring, but have something to manage. In this case, a regency, aka a kingdom. I think a regency is maybe not as like beefy as a kingdom, but you're basically like control some land. The game starts where like this person comes to a group of adventurers, and it's like, hey, we need you to go take out this guy in this area who says he's in control of it, but he's a dick. Go deal with him, and then once you do that, you own that land. You are now in charge, and we will back you. We'll help you like set up your regency and stuff. So yeah, the beginning parts of that game are you like making your way through and eventually like face off against the big bad of the area, and you gotta like find out where he is, find out like take out his thing that's protecting him, and then eventually take him out. And then after that, you unlock kind of a kingdom sim situation where you have like your town that you are then placing buildings on. And so like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna build like a tavern, I'm gonna build a shop, I'm gonna build like a brothel, and and depending on what buildings you place there, obviously you'll have access to those buildings, but you'll also like change the different stats of like, hey, we have higher diplomacy, we have higher like happiness type stuff. But then along with that, you are also going on adventures, because like the people of your regency will be like, hey, trolls are eating our people, you need to deal with that. And so there's certain stuff where like, if there's a lot of mechanics to Pathfinder Kingmaker, and so it's kind of hard to describe all of them. So the people in your party are also your advisors. So when like things come up, there'll be stuff like, hey, this guy has this problem, you need to deal with it. And it can be a thing of like, hey, I'm gonna send my advisor, and they're gonna deal with it. And there's a chance that you'll get a percentage of how likely they are to succeed, and depending on which advisor you send might buff a different stat. Like one advisor might increase like happiness, one advisor might increase like military, and that'll also like depending on which advisor you send will change how they deal with the situation. Like there might be a deal of like, hey, these people are real upset, they're talking about revolting. You could send an advisor who's going to go be like, hey, why are you guys upset? Like, how can I help? Or you could send the military guy and he'll come up and slap some bitches around. So you've got that. You've got the like building out your town thing. But then you also have the deal of like right now, my like actual adventuring party is going to go find out what the deal with the trolls are. So like you have the managing of your regency and then you go do the actual adventuring too. And it's a lot going on. It's actually real cool having all of these mechanics. If it's something that like, oh, that dealing with the like management sim seems like a lot, you can go into your preferences and be like, hey, you take care of that.
You manage that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the adventuring, you do the, management shit. But it's kind of cool to have that kind of, a Baldur's Gate meets like Civ type thing going on. I think based on the plot that I'm aware of, it kind of seems like eventually it's going to come to a thing of like, hey, I'm probably going to have to face off against like the neighboring kingdoms type stuff. So it seems like I'm going to have to kind of, right now I'm kind of expanding my regency, taking over more area, dealing with the trolls issue. And then I think eventually it's going to be a deal of like, okay, now I kind of have to decide like, who am I siding with? Like, am I going to fight with these people? Or am I going to, what's going to happen in the big picture type stuff? But it's a lot going on. It seems like there's a lot of game there. And as someone who has never played Pathfinder, but, knows Dungeons and Dragons, there's enough similarity between the Dungeons and Dragons and the stuff I'm seeing in Pathfinder that I am able to grasp like what stuff does. Like as a comparison, I tried to play Divinity Original Sin 2, which is, a RPG type thing in a similar vein, but was a system where whenever I went to level up my character, I was like, I don't know what this does. Like, what is this stat good? Do I want this stat? But with Pathfinder, it's literally like, my stats are strength, dexterity, charisma. You like the same stats. There's just some differences of like, there's more classes, and some of the abilities are a little bit different. And for example, to pick a lock, you want thievery instead of like sleight of hand. But for the most part, it's pretty easy to figure out what stuff does in Pathfinder Kingmaker if you play Dungeons and Dragons. So overall, I've been digging Kingmaker. One thing I jumped into really quickly, and I want to talk about is Littlewood, which was in a similar vein, just a game about like building up a town. There's no fighting, there's no thing, just people kind of move in. It's supposed to be the story being like, this is what happens after the end of an RPG. Like you save the world and now you have to rebuild. And I played the heck out of that game, but then at a certain point I kind of like hit a wall, and I find that I'm still at that wall without a way to get over it. And thinking about it, I think the answer is kind of the bullshit that I don't want to deal with, because each resident will have requests of like, hey, I want my building to be within like this many squares of the shop, or this many squares of the restaurant, or whatever. And I want a bush in front of my house, and I want this painting and stuff. And like the like messing around and like trying to move the buildings in the exact formation that will make everyone happy was not a thing that I'm wanted to do. Like there was a thing of like, okay, how much of this can I easily check off? And so like everybody's got like
Right.
a third of their wants taken care of, but I'm like, there's an entire area in Littlewood that I'm not able to access right now. And I don't know how to get that. My only thought is maybe I have to like complete enough once to be able to achieve that or something. I wish at this kind of later stage in the game they had a more clear path forward. Because I'm kind of like just going through the same thing every day without a clear like, okay, here's what I need to do to unlock the next thing. And so that's kind of my complaint with Littlewood right now is that like I'm not playing any more of it because I don't know what I'm supposed to do other than just do more of what I've been doing over and over. Well, that's what we've been playing, but now to talk about what can be played in the future with the news. There is a new Pokemon Snap coming, if you didn't know. This isn't new news, but we did get a trailer for the new Pokemon Snap. A little look. It seems to be basically what you would expect from a Pokemon Snap if you are aware of the previous game. It will be coming out in April, and sadly, I don't think Blockbuster's coming back to allow us to print off our pictures.
Aw.
I wouldn't put it past Nintendo to have like kiosks though somewhere. I guess if the pandemic didn't happen and 2020 didn't mean like you can't go to the mall kind of thing, they would do that, you know? Like they've always had like Nintendo Switch things in the mall.
Sure, but also
like little pop-up things.
It doesn't stop anyone from just taking the screenshots from their Switch and printing them themselves. Like the capability of getting images off a Switch is not the same as, an N64.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So,
I think Nintendo loves that stuff, you know? They love that like weird experience thing.
They love gimmicks.
I love gimmicks. But you know what I don't love? Resident Evil Reverse, which has been revealed as Resident Evil Village's multiplayer component. We got a trailer for it, and we'll be talking about it a little bit later, but as far as I'm concerned, it looks like garbage.
Is it really a trailer? It's like 40 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, how much do you need for what this appears to be a multiplayer deathmatch game where, players are shooting at each other, and eventually players will be able to battle against monster type characters like Nemesis, Hunk, along with playing standard characters like Jill Valentine and Claire Redfield, Ada Wong, Jack Baker, Leon, all the cool kids. It seems wholly unnecessary, and I don't know why it's there. Animal Crossing is getting something new to put on your face. Animal Crossing makeup is coming from ColourPop. It will be available on the 28th, and should be available at Ulta Beauty and other places where you can get ColourPop stuff. There is what do we got? We got some Isabelle, we got some Labelles, we got the Nooks, we got all your favorite characters, different color schemes, cute packaging. I want to say that there's some lip balm and stuff. Let me see if I can click on.
Yeah, there's eyeshadow, blushes, there's glitter, tinted lip crayons.
Yeah.
This looks really cool, actually. I might end up getting a couple of these. I don't really do makeup a whole lot, but having a fun color palette that's Animal Crossing themed sounds exciting.
Yes. So if that's your thing, you should get that thing. Bethesda will be putting out a new Indiana Jones game from Machine Games, which you may know from the Wolfenstein series. All we have is a simple announcement teaser tweet, but we have that coming.
I feel like those things don't go together, other than the fighting Nazis part.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you need. That's all you need. I'll be curious what kind of game it is, and also if it's going to be Xbox exclusive, considering Bethesda.
Yeah.
But we have zero news about it.
Is your assumption, like mine, that it's an Uncharted or Tomb Raider style game? Somewhere in between those two.
I would say more Tomb Raider than Uncharted. I would hope it's something neat. Not either of those, because obviously, we have
right. You think it's a first-person shooter, right? If it's Machine Games,
I wouldn't think it's a first-person shooter. That would be a dumb way to do Indiana Jones, and I don't think Machine Games has to do just what they've done before.
Yeah, that's I guess my question, right? Because they're known for making FPSs. I don't know what else they've done, honestly, besides Wolfenstein and the recent ones. But yeah, then Tomb Raider obviously is loosely an Indiana Jones spin-off, right? It's kind of based on that idea, and so is Uncharted.
Yeah, so it's Uncharted is arguably extremely hey, we're trying to make Indiana Jones because we don't have Indiana Jones, and it's we're almost at the point with games of we have that. Why do we need actual Indiana Jones?
Licensed games are back though.
I guess.
Right.
And speaking of,
there's a 007 coming.
I feel like we've had some 007 games for a long time. They just all suck.
Not lately though.
Yeah, I mean,
when was the last 007?
I couldn't tell you. I mean,
I think it's 10 years ago.
Maybe. Time's a flat circle. Speaking of licensed games, a new Star Wars game is coming from Ubisoft's The Division studio. This is interesting for a couple of reasons. A, new Star Wars game, pretty cool. It's supposed to be more open world. But also, that is a sign that the EA exclusive deal with Star Wars isn't the case anymore. If Ubisoft has got their hand in the pot now, we'll see what that means going down the line. But hopefully, this is gonna be a good game, because I like good Star Wars games.
Yeah, I think the Division style game is a really good fit. Yeah, just dress it all up, Star Wars and lasers, and that's solid. That's worth playing.
Yeah,
at least a little bit.
We'll see. Hopefully they put some more QA time into it than EA did with Fallen Order. There's many battles I won just because the enemy was T-posing when I was like, okay, well, I'll just attack you now because you're just T-posing.
Was the only thing we were talking about Resident Evil was the multiplayer? Not even the new trailer for it and the demo you can play?
Well, I was going to ask you guys previously, hey, did you guys try the demo? But then I realized it's PS5 exclusive, so you would not have. And I haven't tried it, so... have you seen the demo? Or not the demo, have you seen the trailer? You want to talk about it?
I've seen the sexy lady that everybody is that
the vampire lady?
The vampire lady.
Well, so we got the tall lady, but now we got the shorter ladies that everyone's oohing on over too. The one with the blood on her face.
Yeah, that one's the vampire lady.
Well, no, I thought the very tall one was the vampire lady. I imagine they're all vampires.
I think they're both vampire ladies.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all vampires.
The tall lady is also a vampire lady.
Yeah.
The internet is thirsty for more Resident Evil.
Oh, actually, in this picture, there's 3 beautiful vampire ladies, but the middle one is the tall one.
I saw a thing saying the demo featured 3D audio, and to my knowledge, I haven't played any PS5 games that have 3D audio. So while Resident Evil isn't my type of game, I might play the demo just to, check that out.
I should watch someone play the demo because I feel like the previous demo, Resident Evil 7 had a demo, right? And there were like weird Easter eggs in it, and people were like trying to play that kind of PT style, looking for clues about what the game would be, right? And then you found out that the character was like Ethan, and there was the guy that was like, "Welcome to the family, son," and then he punched you in the face, and that ended the demo.
Yep.
That was all good stuff.
I feel like when that demo first came out, we didn't know it was a Resident Evil.
Which one?
Yeah, it might have been. What was it
I
called?
I think it was called something else. I feel like it was originally like a VR thing and stuff. I'm upset that the VR version of Resident Evil never came to PC. Like, why was that PS4 or PSVR exclusive?
Biohazard.
Yeah.
Was that what it was called? Or no, that was what the game was called, right?
Yeah, it was called Biohazard. What was the Biohazard teaser demo? There was the beginning hour. I feel like it was like called Kitchen or something.
Oh, Kitchen, right. That's right, because like the first trailer was like you were sitting in the chair and the lady, like, you fell on the floor or something, or the camera fell and then the lady was in your face.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Kitchen was a tech demo for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which was featured at E3 2015. So I feel like when we saw Kitchen, we didn't know what game it was for. It almost just seemed like it was a like showing off VR stuff, and then eventually we learned it was for Resident Evil.
The new Resident Evil games look really good. Like, I really like whatever their art style is. I think they've nailed, like, as real as you need to look without being, like, true realism. Like, everything is, like, the right amount of shiny. The people look, like, real enough, but not, like, ultra, realistic graphics or something like that. They're not, like, trying to be, like, photoreal necessarily, but they, like, I don't know. I think that's like the best looking realism is the current like Resident Evil stuff.
This brings us to slow news. I know the podcast is going to slow down even more.
We're going to take it easy from here on with the slow news.
I've got a fun news story that's tangentially related to video games that I just want to cover.
That's fun news. We got to wait till the fun news section.
Okay, so GameStop stock has hit a record high after short sellers clash with Redditors. So, I actually learned what a short seller is because of this news story. I've heard the term before, but I didn't understand how exactly that worked. I just knew that short sellers basically made their money banking that a stock was going to go down. And to explain how that works is basically a short seller will borrow stock. Like say Matt, you got 1,000 stock at GameStop. I'm like, hey, can I borrow that from you for a little bit? And so you give me the 1,000 stock at GameStop. I go turn around and I sell that stock and get that cash money for it. And then
But you borrowed my thing and then sold it?
Yes. But I'm like, but the price is gonna go down. It's gonna get even. It was $5 when I borrowed it from you. I'm banking on it's gonna get down to like $1. So then I sell it for $5. Then I buy it back up at $1. And then I sell that. I give you your stock back. So I've made money
off of. But you could have like just given me money for making money off of it, right? Like that.
Yeah, I don't know where they get the stock they borrowed, like where that stock comes from, but that's how short sellers work. Is they're borrowing stock, selling it, and then they buy it up at a lower price to return.
Okay.
Well, I guess a group of Redditors ended up buying up stock of GameStop because GameStop has been, I think they were down to $4 a stock at one point within the last year. Right now they're at nearly $80, and because of this whole situation. So Redditors bought up the stock, causing prices to go up. Now, that really screwed over the short sellers because they still have to return the stock that they, borrowed
so
and
they
sold.
then have to buy, right? Because you took my.
So the price goes up, and they're still on the hook for returning it. So that actually helps the Redditors who were buying up the stock, because that's going to drive up the price even higher, because they know there's people who are guaranteed to have to buy this. So it caused the price to go so high that the stock market actually froze buying and selling on the stock for a bit, because this whole thing.
That's when I saw it in the news, was that it's like too volatile.
Yeah.
So they have to say no more buying and selling this.
Yeah. So that's how that whole worked. It's kind of just a funny story of how stocks went, and it just happened to be a thing of GameStop being the one it happened to. But it's a fun little thing, and we all learned about how short selling works. Next news story, Matt, you want to hit this one?
Yeah, Vicarious Visions VV, maker of the recent Tony Hawk 1+2, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2 remake, 1 and 2 remake, and the Crash Bandicoot one trilogy, right? Insane Trilogy. I think that was one they also remade. And they also worked on Crash Team Racing, and previously on some Destiny 2 stuff, and they did like Skylanders and Spyro stuff. But anyway,
I own a Skylander.
They are a Activision studio, which Activision and Blizzard are a conglomerate.
Yeah.
So Activision announced, I guess, that Vicarious Visions is no longer going to be working on Activision projects, but is going to be working on Blizzard projects. And that, I don't know, like that move makes a lot of sense to me. But it also, people seem disappointed because their remakes have been so like hitting the mark lately, with the Crash Team Racing one, the Crash Insane Trilogy one, that they worked, I guess, with Toys for Bob on, and the Tony Hawk one that they just had this year. So people have been really pleased, right? Those have been selling well, those have been reviewed well. So people seem kind of disappointed in like the court of public opinion that they're going over to Blizzard, but I think ultimately it makes a lot of sense. Especially looking at like what Activision even releases at this point. It's like 95% Call of Duty and then just these remakes. And since there are other studios like Toys for Bob or Beanox that are working on some of these remasters and remakes, like Toys for Bob actually did the new Crash game, number 4. They developed that. So like
about time.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah.
So there's room, right, for then Vicarious to move over to Blizzard projects and supporting Blizzard projects. Probably, I saw something that was like, I didn't see this confirmed anywhere, but a rumored like Diablo 2 remake, something like that.
I believe I saw that was what they'd be working on.
But I imagine they're going to support across the board, any of that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I think it's a good move overall when you look at like what does Activision actually make, and that's not named Call of Duty. Everything's named Call of Duty if you look at their list of games other than Crash and some Spyro. They actually publish Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. I didn't realize that.
So there is a question related to this.
Come on.
Mr. PP asks, why did Activision merge Vicarious Visions, who quite literally made the 2 best-selling remakes according to NPD in the past 10 years, Tony Hawk and Crash Bandicoot, into Blizzard to be a support studio? Vicarious Visions could have been the next Blue Point Games, but now they're quite literally nothing. Why such a stupid move?
So I mean, Matt obviously thinks that it's a good move, but I've heard people kind of saying like, "Hey, this is bad. It seems like things are bad in Blizzard," and that actually lends credence to this. To have a comparison to so there is a company who makes gaming tables, like, you know, played like D&D on and stuff, and they have a video series where they kind of like it's, you know, vlogs and stuff. And to have a kind of comparison to this, they bought up another woodworking company to like help them, you know, put out their new tables that they're working on and stuff. But that company already like make stuff. They make you know, furniture and stuff that sells at actual furniture stores. But the Wormwood is having issues getting their tables made in time, and they're basically like, if it comes down to it, we're going to have to get rid of the furniture making stuff that you guys used to do so that you guys can focus entirely on our stuff, because we had problems. We maybe got in a little over our heads. And that could be a similar situation with this, where Blizzard is having issues and they basically had to go, you guys can't work on that anymore because we need help. And that could be the situation, because I mean, in the same deal, like, people like that furniture stuff, people like Vicarious Visions stuff, but at the end of the day, the bigger company is going to eat up whatever it's going to take to get their shit done. And that could be the, you know, the answer.
Yeah, and I guess on that same point, look at just back to kind of what I was saying about like Call of Duty versus Blizzard's catalog. And if you look at like the franchises Blizzard has currently, there's in theory StarCraft, Warcraft, Diablo, and Overwatch. And we know there's an Overwatch in development. We know there are at least 2 Diablo things in development. Warcraft is an ongoing thing, both classic and retail at this point. So like there's, you know, 6 projects right there. So I'm sure like they can come in, and if they're working on Diablo 2 remake, that makes sense, because they've already done a bunch of like remake, remaster type things with other Activision products. Where on the other side you have Call of Duty, and then you have Crash, and every once in a while like there was a Spyro, right? But Spyro and Crash seem to kind of rotate in and out. Tony Hawk was thrown in there, right? So it's like any of those secondary franchises that aren't Call of Duty on the Activision side, there are at least 2 other studios that are on like the same level as Vicarious, where they're kind of lead but support studios that are working on those projects. So I think that just makes a lot of sense. And it kind of hits what you were just saying, like the demand wise, like your whole business is now this.
Yeah. The next news story has to do with Xbox. Matt, do you want to do that one again since you submitted it?
Yeah. So Microsoft announced they were changing the price of Xbox Live Gold. And their new price points basically doubled the yearly subscription to Xbox Live Gold, which allows you to play video games online over the internet, which is like, you know, a default feature of 90% of games at this point in time.
It's like, why even play video games if you're not doing it that way?
Yeah. So after like 15 hours, I think was like the time of the announcement to the time of the retracting statement, they said, oh, you know what? We hear you. We messed up. You guys are right. We're not going to change the price. And we're going to make it so free-to-play games like, you know, Fortnite or something like that don't cost you anything to play online. So the service got better in theory.
Yeah, what I feel like that might be the case with PlayStation already, is they don't charge for like free-to-play online stuff.
I'm not sure.
I couldn't tell you 100%, but I'm like 62% 92% that's the case, and I feel like Darian's checking right now.
This.
I mean, this.
I don't know.
This was a bad like racking up your prices during a pandemic when people are losing their jobs is a real bad look. Xbox, like you had to know that, and maybe this might have actually been a kind of reverse situation where like people were canceling their Xbox Live Gold because obviously they lost their job. They're not going to spend money on that. So Xbox is like, well, we'll just raise the prices for the people who currently have it. And then everybody's like, are you dumb? And then, there was such a massive backlash that they, took it back.
A lot of people were saying that it's like a pretty blatant attempt to get people to jump ship from Xbox Live Gold into Game Pass Ultimate, which Game Pass is a little more expensive. So by raising the prices, they then made it comparable. So that people would then be like, okay, I'm going to get Game Pass Ultimate because that includes Xbox Live Gold in that service.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a similar monthly cost at that point. But I think they should just announce that they're going to sunset Xbox Live Gold and say, if you want to, get Game Pass, you can. And, in whatever amount of time, we're not going to offer this service anymore. And this is, this one is this service plus a library of games,
Oh, okay. I was like, are you saying that they were going to offer online for free? Because obviously that'd be cool, but I think you're saying...
yeah, they should, really.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that, like, you have an online console that you then can't play the games,
It is kind of weird that just became kind of the default for consoles, because if a computer, if Steam tried to say like, hey, you have to pay us monthly to be able to play games online, they would be burnt to the ground. No one would. That would if people are gonna switch to Epic, Steam would have to do something that stupid. Everybody would be like, Epic, we're with you now.
Right.
But
so for the PlayStation one, what I have been able to find is that there are some games that most of the free-to-play games on the PlayStation, you don't need PlayStation Plus to play, but there are some that do. I think it depends on who's hosting the servers.
Okay.
Because if PlayStation is hosting the servers, I think you have to pay. But like Fortnite hosts their own servers.
Oh, so like Epic servers. So
yeah.
So I think that I haven't found anything that specifically says that, but that seems to be the pattern, because like Apex, same thing. Like Apex is free to play on PlayStation. You don't need PlayStation Plus to play it, but PlayStation doesn't host those servers.
So
that's just the pattern that I've found.
So more close. So Xbox is more following in line with what PlayStation's already been doing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's like inconsistent, right? So the through line there seems to be like, if it's on PC, right, then they probably host their own servers. So Sony's not going to charge you in that case, like, right, Fortnite or Apex, they both have PC versions.
Except I believe that they'll charge for anything that the game's charging for, even if they host their own servers. Like Resident Evil, if Resident Evil hosts their own servers, you're still gonna have to pay because they charge for the game.
Yeah, that's probably true, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, the through line there is Xbox on PC, right? I play Game Pass on PC.
Yeah.
And I don't have an Xbox Live account or Gold account, right, to then play multiplayer on PC. So that seems to be like some weird use case that connects between them.
Yeah, the way that all like
it's just like consoles are a closed environment, so F you, you're stuck in it.
Yeah, the way the whole thing works is so dumb. Honestly, I think it would be so smart of Xbox to do what you're saying is get rid of Xbox Live Gold. Playing online's free again. But hey, you guys should get Game Pass. Game Pass is a hell of a deal. You're getting all these games and stuff. I feel like they could make up, the difference with a solid Game Pass, because that is a killer feature. And I would find it way easier to recommend Xbox to somebody saying, hey, you don't have to pay for online, and also if you get Game Pass, you'll have all of these games from the get-go.
You get a library.
Yeah. You have your library, you have free online. They would be flying off the shelves. Like,
there's probably a middle ground too, right? Where it's like you don't have to pay for online play, but there's some other benefit other than like the Game Pass library that is like the enhanced version of online play, right? You get some, they can find something to market.
Yeah.
There.
So something like with like Twitch Prime where you get like free goodies and stuff for certain games. There's stuff that they could do without having to charge for the actual online service, because like that's such a weird thing that obviously Xbox Live like started this whole like you have to pay to play online, and everybody else kind of like we're like, wait, you
Nintendo
can do that?
Even got on board.
Yeah.
We'll charge you $20 a year. Like, why Nintendo? Why are you charging me $1.30 a month or whatever that maths out to?
I believe we have a question about this.
We do have a question about this one. It's from Happy Donk Donk, who says Microsoft / Xbox doubled the price for Xbox Live Gold, only return it to normal based on negative fan feedback, and even allowed free-to-play online games to be free as well. If Sony decided to double the price of PlayStation Network, do you think we would see the same level of negative fan feedback, or do you think because Sony already has the market share on the console side of the industry, more people would just suck it up and accept it? If Sony were to make such a move, do you think they too would reverse it like Microsoft did, or do you think Sony would just make gamers deal with the new price?
I mean, I think we've seen with the whole Fortnite crossplay thing, Sony can be way more stubborn.
Yeah, I think they'd be slower to reverse it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It would take them people at least a solid week of constant pressure for them to turn around and reverse it.
I don't know. Maybe because of how much of an issue that particular thing was, maybe they wouldn't be as stubborn with this one, because like they made a lot of people upset with that.
Yeah.
So like they lost some people, right? By being stubborn. They lost people doing that. So if they made that decision as well, they'd lose more people, which means they'd lose money.
I mean,
lots of money.
How does the PS Classics work on PS5? Because that's part of PSN, right?
Yeah, I mean the PS4 games that I can play on PS5, like I just access them and I can just download them. It's almost like I have like
But it's because you have PS Plus, right?
I believe so. Yeah, it's called the PlayStation Plus collection.
So if they just extended that across, right, like the PSN, I bet they could increase the price no problem and say like we added this service.
Oh, if
I bet people would be okay with
honestly,
that.
Yeah, if PlayStation wrapped in a Game Pass style system into PlayStation Plus and said we're raising the price along with that, I think people would be like, yeah, that's fine. But I think at the end of the day, trying to raise prices during a pandemic is going to get you a shit ton of backlash, and maybe you should wait. Maybe this is not the time. So I think that was also a huge thing of like Xbox fucked up in a lot of ways, and raising prices in a pandemic is number one. No, I think there would be as much of a backlash from Sony fans if they doubled the price. I don't think that Microsoft people are different in that case, unless Sony was turning around and offering more for that increased price. They're going to get the very same backlash.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you could have like done it as a next gen only thing, since it's hard to currently get the newer consoles. I wonder how that would work. This is me like, trying to scheme evil corporate style. Like,
maybe,
how do I get
but
the
then
most
I
money?
feel like you're gonna lose sales on the new console because people will be like, well, then I'll just keep playing on PS4 if it's gonna cost me more to play on the PS5.
Right. Why should I be punished for buying your new console by having to pay more? That's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
I just gave you a shit ton of money by buying your console. Why should I also continue to give you a ridiculous amount of money to play on it?
Yeah, they just need to add like something more, and it doesn't have to be worth the equivalent value. They could literally say like, oh, we're gonna give you a PlayStation 5 game and a PS4 game and with this, or PlayStation Plus collections available to everybody. They can add in a thing and up the price, but if they give us nothing in return, then no, I don't. I think they're gonna face that backlash. Would that backlash be enough for people to stop playing on their console? No, I don't think so.
Probably not. Right?
I mean, Netflix just raised their price, and I'm like, well, whatever.
Yeah, they consistently do it too, right? Every other year, they bump it up a little more.
Yeah, so I don't think raising the prices is enough to kill customers' desire to do their stuff, especially because there's not a thing of like, well, if Xbox was like, hey, we're getting rid of Xbox Live, it's just free, then it might give you incentive to jump over there. But if it's like, well, it's the same thing, just a slightly different price, and the other company will probably switch their prices soon anyway, there's no reason to jump ship over that. Well, that brings us through all the news and into the Patreon producers section, where I thank Aaron C. and Dragons Lucas for supporting the show over these many, many episodes. We appreciate you for supporting the show, and you help us make it cool. Along with the questions that we got during the news, we have more, and Darian's going to hit us with them.
Do you want to be a part of the show? Go to readysetgamecast.com/submit to submit a question, comment, or your favorite. I don't know. Whatever, your favorite thing.
Your favorite thing.
What's your favorite thing that you put in Stardew?
I said questions, comments, or quadratic equations, and that's why we have one.
Huh.
Anyway.
Or for us to read, on the show. I guess third question now. It's from Erin, and she asked, "What is your game of the year for 2020?"
I googled 2020 games right now, and I'm scrolling through the list, and I feel like my answer is going to end up being Stardew Valley, or not Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
I pictured Animal Crossing.
Astra's Playroom was apparently 2020, so either that or Animal Crossing is my two.
I actually don't know what I spent the most time with. It's probably Animal Crossing, even though I haven't played that game since Halloween time.
You gotta get your snowballs. You gotta get your large snowflakes.
I should get into Animal Crossing again. Oh, what have I played a lot of? I don't know.
You shouldn't get into Animal Crossing if your idea of getting into Animal Crossing makes you go, ugh. Because you did that. I should get back into Animal Crossing. Ugh.
It's just like it becomes a chore at a point.
It is a chore.
Well, I feel like it's good to check in seasonally because you have the new stuff. You have the
Yeah, but then it's like I'm so out of the loop that even if I do that, it's like there's all this other stuff that there's hanging over me that I need to do that I never finished from before. Like my Halloween decorations are out right now, I'm sure.
Oh my god, you're gonna have to run up and press Y to.
Yeah, but everybody's gonna be like, "Where have you been? It's been months."
I haven't logged in since April.
I've been quarantining, okay?
But then
haven't you heard?
You get the special dialogue that you don't normally get to see. You get to see how every different person reacts to you having been gone so long.
They're gonna be like, "These 5 people moved out."
Yeah, do they move out?
No, they don't move out without asking you. Nobody.
Oh, good.
Nobody leaves without talking to you first.
Thank goodness. I've been so concerned that I was going to lose Pashmina that I haven't been refusing to log in at all. I haven't logged in since April.
Well, they're still there.
I'm going to wait a year, and I'm going to see exactly how disgusting my island is. I'm going to log in February.
That's weird.
I can't wait. It's going to be horrible. Did I say February? April. I'm logging in April.
You're gonna miss the snow boys. I don't actually.
Darn.
I should log in to look at the snow.
Snow boys. I got my dad a I got my dad a Switch for Christmas, and Aaron got him Animal Crossing, so he's been on that. He called me to ask about turnips, so we had to explain how the turnip game worked, and so
I love that.
Did you tell him about short selling?
I had to like check my turnip prices for the first time in like 6 months and text my dad of like, oh, turnips are 100 today.
I also played a lot of Trackmania for like a 2-week period. That was good. That's a neat game.
Was it a 2020 game?
Yeah. Yeah, the new Trackmania. What else? Hades came out. A lot of people really like Hades.
Yeah, I played Hades when it was still early access, so everybody's like, yeah, Hades is out, and I'm like, yeah, I played that like 2 years ago, and I like it wasn't done then, so at some point I need to jump back in and actually play the full game.
Yeah, it's totally enjoyable. I think the game is completely well made. It's just like not what I necessarily was looking for, I guess. Like it's good. It's fun. It's good to play, but it's just like not hitting the mark right for me for whatever reason.
I wish Grindstone was like Hades, where like Hades is a game where you're kind of doing the same thing over and over, but you're constantly getting more story. More like characters are coming and they're saying new stuff, and you're getting like a better picture of the world each time you do a run. Whereas like Grindstone, like you're getting new game mechanics, but you're not getting a better feel of the world. And so Hades, I love that. Like Hades is like a sweet balance of gameplay and story.
You know, when it comes down to it, Among Us is probably the game I had the best time with this year. So it's probably Among Us for me.
I didn't.
Not a new game, but
yeah. It might as well be.
It had a surge.
Yeah. It basically like showed up in 2020.
And that just reminded me, Fall Guys. I play Fall Guys pretty consistently. Mm-hmm. I just forgot about Fall Guys though, for whatever. It's like it happens. I don't know.
Darian, did you have an answer?
So I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is my game of the year 2020. Animal Crossing would be a close second, but I did like stop playing that game pretty hard within a month.
All the good games got pushed to probably 2022 at this point.
God of War Valhalla is still supposed to come out this year. Did I say Valhalla? Ragnarok. Fake fan. Fired.
Supposed to until we get like a trailer for it. You might as well like ignore that.
Honestly, I hope that they keep pushing it back because I can't afford a PlayStation 5 right now. And I don't think they're planning on releasing that on PS4.
Dude, I just ordered the gaming TV. I'm so excited.
What is that?
It is the LG CX series TVs. They are 4K, HDR, OLED, and support
low latency.
Yeah, support 120 frames per second and NVIDIA G-Sync. So
wow, that sounds expensive as fuck.
It's about $2K for the 65-inch one.
I just bought a 70-inch TV for $600. You are not going to convince me to spend $2,000 on a smaller TV.
But
my cutoff's like $1,000 for a TV.
Yeah,
I'd say like that's probably where it's like I'd probably spend $1,000, right? Just like I think we did on our current, it's like a 1080 65-inch TV or something like that. And it's like that's probably at the time when we bought it.
Yeah, I mean this one.
Ago.
Yeah, this one is definitely like the gaming TV. It is designed to support frame rates that you would only see in games, and obviously
sure.
The NVIDIA G-Sync being a huge thing. I think this is like the only TV I have seen that supports that. But my current TV is like 10 years old or more. I think I got it when I was like a freshman in college. So I will be very excited to jump into games like God of War and stuff and see them in like HDR and 4K and these features that even like the PS4 supported that I did not get from my old TV. So I will be very excited to
make sure you get those HDMI 2.1 cables. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the PS5 supports 2.1. Oh, I might have to order those or look into. Yeah,
Because otherwise you won't get the like true 4K, right?
it's bad.
The
Anyway,
next question's from I have erectile dysfunction, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Congratulations. They ask, Resident Evil 3 Remake included a free multiplayer side game that no one really liked, played, or asked for. Those that did play it claimed the game was fine, but no one overly enjoyed it or ever went back to it. It was clearly something thrown in to make the package that was Resident Evil 3 Remake more appealing, as the game is shorter than my love life. Resident Evil Village will be releasing with its own free multiplayer mode that no one asked for and doesn't look super appealing. Should we be worried that Village will be a shorter experience and this multiplayer game is just to justify the price point similar to RE3 Remake?
guys, I have a question. Why is Best Buy selling a $200 HDMI cable?
How long is it?
2.5 inches. I'm dropping it in Discord.
No, 2.5 feet.
Oh, sorry.
2.5 feet.
That's still not enough.
That's still at least a foot too short.
That's still $200 for. Oh, sorry guys. That here we go. You can get a green one for $250.
There was one for $400.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's this red one.
What the fuck?
Why?
Best Buy has always charged too much for cables.
Why?
But sometimes they're the only
There's
place
a
where you can get the
$500
adapter you need
one.
at the time you need it.
Bryce, what about this one?
I'm sorry. I should have looked. Like they have.
Oh my god. Hold on. This cannot be real.
But wait, there's more.
What the fuck?
What is it? Oh my god. $1,149 for a 10-foot cable. That is $100. That is over $100 a foot.
Must be a good cable.
That cable better come with a ghost that gives me blowjobs for that price.
Hey, I found it.
That's beautiful. That was good.
Oh no. I found the most expensive one.
You think?
No. I know.
No, it's literally called the most expensive cable, and the price just keeps going up.
Oh yeah, you search price high to low. Yep. $2,799, and it's shorter. It's short. Wait, so if I go, no, you didn't, because if you switch that cable to 10 feet.
Oh wow!
It goes.
You were right. I was wrong. They're sold out.
Well,
it's because there was only one of them.
Who bought that? Who bought it? We only made one of it, and we sold it, and we are
Whoever
fucking
the fuck
rich.
bought that is an asshole. Like, how dare you feed into that bullshit? Why would you do that to the market? Anyway, we're not really talking about the RE3 remake thing. I don't think any of us have any opinion on that.
Okay, so what was...
I did a quick Google search, and Resident Evil 8 is supposed to be a similar length to Resident Evil 7. So in that sweet 8 to 10 hour mark, apparently.
I understand them wanting to include a multiplayer game. It gives people a reason to hook other people in. Like how many games have been sold to people going like, hey, you should buy this game so that we can play together.
Yeah, but who's doing that for Resident Evil?
I'm sure they'll sell, somebody's gone, hey, I want to play this, and convince somebody to do. And it gives people a reason to keep playing after they've beat the story. I understand why you would want to include a multiplayer game in your single player experience. Do I think it's going to affect the experience of the game? No, I would hope that they said, hey, this is the length of the game that we want to make. I will say 1,000,000 times, make the length of the game the length it needs to be and no longer. I don't want to be going, this game should have ended like
2 hours, 3 hours ago.
Red Dead Redemption 2, there was like halfway through the game, I was like, finally, the end. Feels like it's been going on forever. And then they're like, actually, no, it's still going. And I'm like, what? No, what? And there's like so many deals of like, end it where it should be. So if they were like, hey, this is the game we're making, but also, yeah, we're gonna throw in this other thing, that's fine. And I would hope it's like different group or whatever, side people working on the multiplayer experience. I understand why they include it, and it's
probably a smaller team.
I would hope,
even if it's within the same.
Yeah, I would hope. And to be fair, like they're using the same assets. They're not creating new shit for this. It's the same. You're playing as the same characters. I imagine it probably didn't take a lot to put this together.
This strikes me as such like just a holdover from a bygone era of game where a multiplayer only game can't really exist, and like every game has to justify having a multiplayer like added value to it, right? I feel like Nintendo does this still with games. Like they throw in like here, like Luigi's Mansion had a multiplayer mode, just like added in.
Well,
and it's like
I feel like Nintendo's trying to add in multiplayer to their games because like that is one of the selling points of the Switch, is that like, hey, you can pull off a Joy-Con, hand it to your friend, we're both playing together. So that's, there's incentive to do that.
I think this kind of thing though was like that came up in like a couch co-op era. So it, like you're saying, it makes sense for the Switch, but like I do think that era has come and gone, but some studios still like, in order to justify this price tag, we need to have a full game, and a full game means it's a single player story game, but then there's also a multiplayer mode, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it also, gives reason to, like I said, like, hey, you should buy this game and play with me. It gives people a reason to keep playing after they've done it, give more life to their game, give people a reason to not just sell their game back to GameStop the second they...
Right.
So
yeah, it's probably that too, right? How do I prevent returns or trade-in sales?
There's a reason why you would want a multiplayer game. Like, people aren't selling back their copy of Destiny as soon as they finish the story because it is multiplayer, and people who make single player games want that same thing. But yeah, this is. I looked at the trailer for it. It looks like shit. I don't think it's gonna keep anybody on board. It would, they throw this in because it seems like a good idea on paper to have a multiplayer experience, but it has to be a good multiplayer experience for that stuff to matter.
I don't think it'll hurt the story of Resident Evil 8 though.
I also don't think like, every single player game's multiplayer experience is gonna be bad. Like The Last of Us is multiplayer was fucking great. They did some really cool stuff with that. I heard good things about the Uncharted multiplayer.
People love that.
Yeah, you can do it well. I don't think the Resident Evil did it well, but that's them. Anyway,
the next question is from Why Did My Father Leave Me? 2021 is going to be a stacked year for games. God of War 2, Horizon 2, Breath of the Wild 2, Halo Infinite, and dozens of third-party games, but also COVID. What games do you think will be delayed into 2022? I honestly could see all three of those first ones that were listed already being pushed back. God of War 2, Horizon 2, and Breath of the Wild 2.
I could see God of War 2 and Breath of the Wild 2 being pushed back because we haven't seen any gameplay from them. Horizon 2, the trailer we got seemed like they had a a decent amount of the game built there. It wasn't just like a teaser image or anything. Halo Infinite's already been pushed back, so that should be, done. We didn't mention it. But the Harry Potter game got pushed back. Yeah,
Breath of the Wild 2, I don't really expect this year unless they are going to do some sort of fall launch with it, and I don't know. I'm still hopeful that they're going to do an upgraded Switch model sometime soon, and then I'll probably jump on board with that. But I imagine a game like they launched with Breath of the Wild with the Switch, so they'll probably push something like that, Breath of the Wild 2 or Breath of the Wild sequel game and the Switch Pro or whatever it's called.
If they put out a new Switch that has like Wi-Fi 6 built in, that would be dope as shit. I'd be all about that.
God of War, I wouldn't expect this year, I guess, unless that's been like an established thing. Horizon, I guess that came out almost the same day as Breath of the Wild, right? They were like 3 days apart.
Oh yeah, there was a deal of
that could line up.
Yeah. If you haven't seen a gameplay of the game, I would not count on seeing it this year.
Hopefully Halo makes it this year. I thought I just read something about Halo not that long ago that implied like they're reworking a lot of it or something.
Yeah, I would imagine after the backlash that they got, they probably were like, let's see what we can do.
The next question is from I was told you solved math. Hello. I was told you solved math. Bryce asked for quadrilateral equation, find x. Bryce better not be plugging this into Google. Bryce is absolutely plugging this into Google. That's cheating.
Can we go through how to solve this together?
Sure.
Okay.
Do you know how?
No, so that's why I'm going to like go through it and see if I still remember how to do math. I think so the equation here for the listeners is 6x squared plus 11x minus 35 equals 0. So we're trying to solve for x. I think you do the x squared.
Yeah, as Darian pointed out, there's technically two x's in play. And as far as certain websites might indicate, there might be two separate answers to each x, which I think is not usually supposed to be the case.
I actually dropped out of college because I couldn't pass my math class.
My girlfriend at the time did my math for me. My math class was like 90% online, and we had like 2 tests a year, and so like most of your grade came from the homework, which was online, and then you just had the like in-person test. So my girlfriend at the time just did my math on the website, and then I would come in and fail the test, but at the end of the day, pass the class.
Is there a way to move like?
So I mean, the way
you move something to the other side of the equation and then like you invert it, so like 35 would be like negative 35 or something like that.
The way that you're supposed to come up with the answer would be like to get rid of the negative 35, you then add 35 to both sides.
Okay. So then it equals 35.
Yeah.
And then you have to figure out x squared times 6 plus 11 times x equals 35.
I don't like this game anymore.
Yeah, Matt, if you literally copy paste that equation into Google will literally walk you through each part of the steps. Evaluate the exponent, multiply the numbers, add the numbers, evaluate the square root, multiply the numbers, and then give you all of that, solve the separate equations, and then solve and literally break you through every part of this. And I guarantee you, we would not be able to do this. Is
it -1?
It's fractions. Both of them are fractions. One of them is positive, the other one's negative.
That's stupid.
The first x is 5/3. The second x is -7/2.
That's stupid.
So
math doesn't make any sense, and I fucking hate it.
Okay.
The next question is a sad girl who's currently crying right now. Actually, this is a comment, I guess. No, it ends in a question. Why the fuck did ColourPop announce the Animal Crossing sets? Why are they so fucking pretty, and why am I so poor? And how is it already a best-selling item? And why do I want something I know I'll never be able to afford or buy because it'll sell out just like their Disney Princess line and Sailor Moon lines? Why is being a girl so hard?
Darian?
Being a girl's not that hard.
I'd like to float that makeup isn't necessarily just for girls.
Yep.
If the boys stop buying all the makeup, then you could have it.
Yeah,
nope,
maybe.
That's
lower
I don't like
demand.
that. I don't like that particular take. But I don't know how to respond to this. Next question.
Why
Listen to
limited
Ready,
exclusivity? Boo.
Yep, Nintendo loves their artificial scarcity.
Well, no, I think it's because for those particular lines, it's to a very specific fan set. Like, people aren't gonna like, if they're not fans of Sailor Moon or Animal Crossing, they're not gonna be like, oh, I want this particular palette. Like, it's for a very specific group of fans, and they don't want to overproduce this product so that they just have it sitting on the shelves forever.
I feel like a decent amount of this is like the packaging. Like, you could probably get those similar colors or whatever in different sets, but you're getting the packaging that has Isabelle on it.
Also, the color sets together is probably slightly cheaper, even though it's probably marked up because it's a themed set, you know?
Right. The last question is from listen to Ready Set Gamecast every week on iTunes and podcast services, and also give a 5-star rating to support the show and feed the pretty lady. That's me. I'm the pretty lady. Called it.
Do you need food?
Just kidding. What if it's Erin?
Why would she?
What if Erin's the pretty lady?
I guess.
Who asked this question?
Listen to Ready Set Gamecast every week on iTunes
Yeah,
and
the
podcast
answer
services.
is-
Also give a 5-star rating to support the show and feed the pretty lady.
That's their name.
Lucasfilms Games has made a return, and the Disney EA deal on Star Wars has been revoked. Apparently, they still had 3 years left on their 10-year deal. We're getting a Ubisoft. Is it Ubisoft or Ubisoft?
Dealer's choice.
Star Wars and a Machine Games Indiana Jones. But what other games or studio partnership do you want to see Lucasfilms do?
I mean,
What else does Lucasfilm have?
I mean, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. Anything. I think those are the two that like Lucas made. Obviously, like Lucas Games made was it Monkey Island?
Mm-hmm.
Did they make like Space Ace? Or I'm searching. They have 45 games. Oh, obviously
Labyrinth.
a Knights of the Old Republic remake would hit real good. I keep trying to play that again, but the graphics are quite dated. Monkey Island.
Jurassic Park?
Oh yeah, for sure they'd have that. Jurassic Park games keep getting made.
Yeah.
It's hard to say who would be the right choice for that.
I think that current one's pretty popular. The park one that's Frontier Games, Jurassic World Evolution.
It's so hard to say like, hey, I would like a Star Wars game from this developer or whatever. Obviously, like, bring back Star Wars 1919. Like that Uncharted style Star Wars game that was like shown off and then killed. Like, that looked cool as hell. Apparently it was supposed to be kind of Mandalorian-esque. So I could say, yeah, give it to Naughty Dog, but it's like Naughty Dog wasn't the people making 1919, and or was it 1919 or 1616?
13.
13. I knew it was two repeating numbers. It was to follow the bounty hunter Boba Fett navigating level 1313, a subterranean metropolis from the planet Coruscant. Which we saw in the TV show Clone Wars. I think I had shown Aaron the demo for 1313, like the video demo for it, and then like later when we were watching Clone Wars, Ahsoka went to floor 1313. I'm like, it's like the video game. Like there's so much to Star Wars. Like, we've seen, there's, the space sim. There is games focusing with Jedi. Honestly, I would love a game that's like not about Jedi. I don't want to see Jedi. Like, we see too much of them. I would love to see a character, like a game that's not centered around a known character. And something in that same vein as 1313. Who would be the best company to do that? It's hard to say. I mean, LucasArts was the one developing it before. Obviously, LucasArts is done. But they're like handing out their licensing to other companies.
Right.
So hell, Naughty Dog. Throw it to Naughty Dog. Let them like actually make it. Show us what Boba Fett's been doing all these years.
I don't have a good answer because I don't know really what properties they have besides mostly Star Wars and then I guess Indiana Jones and like you were saying, like some of the old LucasArts stuff like Monkey Island.
Yeah. Well,
that's it.
That's all the questions. This brings us to housekeeping. Go to lastgeek.com for links to the podcast on all your favorite podcast services, including iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher, as well as the video version on YouTube. If you like the show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on iTunes and Stitcher. It helps us grow and become more powerful. I put on a jacket so you can't see my muscles. Other Last Geek stuff you should check out. Game Corp is ending with episode 69. When is it coming?
Nice.
No one knows because the time cops are involved. Ready, Set, Gamecast. This podcast is ending at the end of February. Teddy Chinaris will be there. Dungeons and Gamers is out. It exists. And it's available on podcast services everywhere. Episode 7 is out as of the time you're hearing this, because it came out on the 25th of January. New episodes will come out the last Monday of each month. To stay up to date on what's going on with Dungeons and Gamers, follow Dungeons Gamers on Twitter. And there's some cool clips.
You can see the clips.
Yeah, there's cool clips on there where Morthos wants to drink the boozums.
I'll have one liquor, please.
That is all of the information we have for you this week. Except, where can people find Matt?
I am on the internet at Matt N Cheese. MATTNCHZ. That's my new jingle. Mostly Twitch and Twitter. Yeah.
Darian.
Twitch, Twitter, a witchy fairy, AWITCHYFAERIE. It gets harder and harder to spell it every time.
The letters keep moving around. It's hard to
They're
nail
just
them.
going all over the place.
You can follow me on Twitter at Last Geek. You can follow me on Instagram, Last Geek Plays, Twitch, Last Geek Plays, YouTube.com/Last Geek, LastGeek.com for things that are there on a website. Also, it's a new year, and I have once again launched the Extra Life page for Last Geek. You should go to lastgeek.com/extralife. You can set up a reoccurring donation. So if you can only spare $5 a month, you can set up a reoccurring donation for $5 a month, and then by the end of the year, you will have given $60. So you could be like, it's Extra Life Day. I don't have $60 to give. Well, if you give $5 a month, which you're probably not even going to notice, like by the end of the year, you will have given $60 to help sick kids. And obviously, $10 will be $120, so on and so forth. We will be, I've got probably another D&D event will be happening in the summer, and then Extra Life Day itself. So we'll be doing stuff along with that. But you can donate anytime. We will appreciate your donations at any time. And it helps sick kids in my area.
Pizza on a bagel.
Okay.
You can donate anytime.
Yep. That brings us to the end of the show, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Goodbye.
Bye.